Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to this Brent Dodge here. Come and talk some Disney. It is time for us to recap another race weekend. And no, I did not slack. Welcome back, you say. Hello, Wednesday show. Welcome home. If I had a comb. How's everyone doing? Thank you, everyone, for welcoming me back. We are back to Florida here. It was a very, 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 very busy week. Hiya, hey Brent, hey guys. Yeah, we had a very busy week. I am not fully recovered yet. I'm still very, very tired, but we have a lot to talk. We have so much to talk about, people. So let's get to it. We're gonna start the 807th episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 807th episode of the Wednesday show. Today is February 5th, 2025, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be going through and talking all about this past weekend's Run Disney Race Weekend over in Disneyland. We'll also be doing more of a Disneyland trip report as well. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, if you did not hear the amazing, exciting, super duper, fantastic, phenomenal news, we have a book, people. My fifth book, A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA, is currently available not just on Amazon, but you can also buy it on paperback right now. We have 30 copies that are left of our third batch. So if you guys want to get one of those copies of the third batch of A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA, I highly encourage you to go pick up a copy. If you purchase it today, I will be shipping it out tomorrow. So get your book that people are saying is amazing. It has 5-star reviews across the board on Amazon and over on Etsy. So go get yours now if you have not done so already. I am extremely proud of this book. And it's kind of funny because this past week has been such a blur of everything going on that today I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. I wrote a book again. Also, when you're on Etsy, if you want to order that one and you need to pick up a copy of the Fantasyland book, Liberty Square book, or Frontierland book, those are all available over there as well. If you order today, I'll ship out tomorrow. If you order tomorrow, I'll ship out Friday. If you order Friday, I'll ship out Saturday. If you order Saturday, I'll ship out Monday because Sunday it's closed. So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm still. It's been about a month since we got our first physical copy, and I'm still reeling from how excited I am about this book. So go pick up yours now. Also, I apologize because we always talk about these Saturday in the park. Every single Saturday, we do a live broadcast from someplace fun throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. But this past Saturday, I totally, completely spaced and forgot to. I was at the airport on Monday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never did another broadcast of the thing. So I do apologize that we never got another broadcast. We did have our Wednesday show from Disneyland exactly 1 week ago today, but we never got to our Saturday in the park. So I do apologize to anyone out there who may have been sitting around and wondering what was going on. I completely forgot. It was a very hectic week, which, like I said, we're going to talk about in just a few minutes here. And of course, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by the amazing, always super duper Patreon pals. Patreon pals. They are so delicious. No, not cannibal. Thank you for our Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out in the chat room, give us an oh yeah. Oh wait, we have a lot to talk about. So this past week has been insane. It's been fun. It's been amazing. It's been exhausting. It's been a whole lot of other things. So let's talk about it because let's first off, as always, if you guys have any questions, start throwing those questions out there right now. I will go through as many questions as possible as we go through here. I also have a lot to talk about when it comes to this race weekend. We will be going through every single one of the races. We're also going to talk a little bit about something, but we're going to go into more detail about it next week. So let's just go through a few things here. What about your first book? The first book currently is out of print. I am hoping to get it more copies sometime in the near future. However, that one was published by a company called Dog Ear Publishing, and they are unfortunately out of business. So I want to get it back up into publishing form. It's a little trickier when the company that published the book goes out of business. I can't even order any more copies. So literally I am down to one copy of that book, and it's the original copy. The very first copy that ever came out is the only one that I've got left right now. What's your hat? That is Mickey Mouse Running. That is a Run Disney hat. Ooh. I bought this in November during the Run Disney Expo for Wine and Dine. Oh wait. So let's talk a little bit about not a little bit. Let's talk a lot about this past week. So like I said, we're going to do a little bit of a trip report. We're going to do a little bit of a Run Disney report, and we're going to do a lot more of reports. So first off, last Wednesday, we got over to Disneyland. And when we got over to Disneyland, of course, we did the Wednesday show. You guys literally got me seconds into getting to the park. Like literally, I got into the park from the airport, and we did the broadcast of the Wednesday show last week from Disneyland. And then we stayed at the park until almost park closed, but we were both very exhausted, both having traveled into Disneyland that day. But yeah, so it was kind of a crazy, hectic day. And the next morning we had to wake up early because of the thing we're going to talk about next week. But we're just going to glaze over it very briefly now. But we went over to the Walt Disney Studios. I was able to get tickets for Frank and myself to go over there and do an entire tour of the actual Walt Disney Studios. Now, when I talk about the Walt Disney Studios, I mean the actual place where things like Pinocchio, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Old Yeller, Darby O'Gill and Little People, Herbie the Love Bug, and so many other classic Disney films were filmed at or designed at or produced at, etc., etc., etc. Also over there is the Walt Disney Archives, the Disney Legends Plaza, and so much more. We're going to go into all of that next week. That is going to be our entire episode next week, is just doing a recap of that tour. But that was Thursday morning around like 9 o'clock. It took us like an hour and a half to get up there. That was Thursday morning. And then we drove back, and when we drove back, we picked up my friends Randy and Keith at the airport because they were flying in literally right when we got there. So we picked them up from the airport and then drove straight to the expo of Disneyland. So let's talk a little bit about the expo. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the 5K. We're also going to talk about the races and the Disneyland and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Keep on throwing those questions. I do see the questions are popping up there. We are going to get through all those questions in just a little bit here. Though we went over to the Disneyland Hotel. That's going to be where the Run Disney Expo is found, over at Disneyland. Over there, they do have it so you can get your bibs. That is our bib for the 5K. Look at Groot. It was Groot themed. Or it was like Marvel themed / Guardians of the Galaxy themed. But I love Groot, and I love the fact that it's got Groot. And then if you do the 10K and the half marathon, that is the Dembo Double Dare Challenge. This is the shirt for the Dembo Double Dare Challenge. And then in addition to that, you get your bib for the Dembo Double Dare Challenge. We've talked about this in the past when we talked about Run Disney race weekends, but if you take a look at the top here, I was in Corral A for the 10K and Corral D for the half marathon. So overall, we got our 2 bibs. We also were able to pick up our shirts, including this one right here, and then the other ones are in the laundry. So I'm not going to take those up because I do not want to have it so this entire place smells right now. But we did go through and have it so we got our bibs, and then we headed up to the park. So first off, my friend Keith had never been to Disneyland before. His wife, Randy, she had been there twice before, but this was going to be her 3rd time, and pretty much her first time at California Adventure. California Adventure was around the last 2 times that she went, but not since Cars Land was added, or Avengers Campus, or Buena Vista Street, or so much more. So all of these things were really new to them. So we said, you know what? We're just going to go out. We're going to enjoy the park. We're going to take you all around both Disneyland and over into California Adventure. So we headed over to Disneyland and California Adventure. We did several different attractions. Actually, you know what? I've got this app now, and it can actually give us a trip report of what we did, what time we did. I didn't even thought about this. Okay, so let's go to our stats and trip report. Oh, I forgot the app was being worked on earlier. It might still be down. It is down. The app is down. Never mind. But we went over there. We took them on things like the Matterhorn, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Indiana Jones, and then we headed over to Cars Land to check that out at night as well. Then we would go home not home, but we'd go to the hotel that night, and we would go early in the morning, aka like 3:30 in the morning is when we woke up, to go over to do our 5K over in Disneyland. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. We're going to go kind of races, and then we're going to go into the rest of the stuff here. I see a lot of different questions are popping up right now about the parks. We're going to get to them in just a few minutes here, but we're going to do a quick little recap of the things. Oh, by the way, that's our starting number there, 8,261. As always, if we go into more people as we go through here, we will go into extra innings as the evening goes on as well. I also can feel a sneeze coming on. It just is not coming on quite yet. Okay, let's get to the pictures. So not the pictures yet. Wait a minute. So the 5K is one of the most unique 5K experiences that you will ever do in the history of Disney races. I'm looking at the questions here. We're going to get to those questions in just a second here. Okay, so if you've joined me when we've talked about the 5Ks, 10Ks, and half marathons over in Disneyland, then you know very well that we've talked a lot about the race course and, all the other fun stuff. This race course, now there's some things about the Run Disney races at Disneyland that I love compared to Walt Disney World, and there are some things that I despise compared to Walt Disney World. However, there's one thing that I love more than anything else, and that is the race course for the 5K over in Disneyland. So let's see, is there a way to, that's fine. Okay. So this is Disneyland, and I know what you're thinking, oh, yes, it is. So when we go to the Disneyland here, this is Main Street, USA. The race actually started right here in front of the castle. So you would actually run along the Matterhorn, and then you would go backstage over here, and then you would run all the way around. It's a small world until you would enter into Galaxy's Edge. Once we got into Galaxy's Edge, we ran down into Frontierland, took a left, and headed into Fantasyland. Ran through the castle, ran through Adventureland and Bayou Country, then back into Galaxy's Edge. Took a left, ran backstage, ran across the Espionage, that's what I like to call it, the Esplanade, and we went into California Adventure, ran into Buena Vista Street, took a left, went down Hollywood Boulevard into Avengers Campus, came out, went up to Pixar Pier, ran around Pixar Pier, and then the finish line was actually at Pixar Pier. Overall, really, really cool experiences. Along the way, we met several different characters. Starting off here, now, here's another thing. So as much as I love the fact that we have it so all these different characters are out, the problem with the Run Disney races in Disneyland is most of the times they do not have photo pass people around. So if you want to meet a character, you have to take your own pictures. So that's why we have a selfie there. We got a selfie there of Captain Jack Sparrow and the redhead. This one, they did take a picture of us. This is going to be, here, let's zoom in there. That is Chip and Dale dressed as Thor and Loki. And then we had Gamora and Star-Lord up there. And then Groot, which makes sense because it was the Groot 5K. And then we had Mrs. Incredible and Frozone. And then finally, we had Carl Fredricksen and Russell from the movie Up. After going through all of those, we got our 5K medal, which is this really cool medal of Groot running right at you. So that is our 5K medal there. After finishing, you literally are there where World of Color is shown. So we kind of spend a few extra minutes there just kind of basking in the amazingness that is in that area. So you get your medal, you get your banana, you get your little pack, you get your water Powerade, and then you're just kind of there and you're just kind of enjoying the area. And it's really, really cool. It's just a really cool experience. It is probably my favorite start and finish of any Run Disney race that Disney's ever done. So if you want to do a cool 5K and you're going to go to Disneyland, highly, highly, highly recommend it. They used to start and end over by downtown Disney, and then when they switched it up to here, it's made a world of difference, and it's just so much cooler. So that day we went around, we enjoyed the park. My friend Catherine then joined us as well. When we were there, we did a lot of time at Disneyland, and then we made our way over to California Adventure, where we did things like the Incredicoaster, Guardians of the Galaxy. Was that it? I feel like we did more, but no, we did a lot. And then we got ice cream. Every single night we got ice cream. But then the next morning we would have to wake up in the morning to do our 10K. Now the 10K would not start out in the park like the 5K, but it actually started off just down the street. So you would run down the street, go around the entire California Adventure Park on the back side of it, going past the Alpine Inn, my old home away from home. I used to stay there all the time, and then they raised up the prices a few years ago, and I have not gone since. It's not that great of a hotel, but it's a really, really good location. You would go down by Pixar Pier, and then you would enter into backstage area of California Adventure. You would enter kind of behind where like Cars Land area is, and then you would enter into Cars Land. You would run down Cars Land, and then while you're going down Cars Land, you would go around Pixar Pier, make your way down towards Soarin' area, and then go down. Go around. You would go into Avengers Campus, go down Hollywood Boulevard, and then you would go across the way over to Disneyland. Enter into Disneyland. We would go down Main Street, USA, take a left, go through Frontierland, go through Adventureland, go through into Galaxy's Edge. I'm drawing a blank here. Go into Galaxy's Edge, then you would loop around into Frontierland, and then you would go into Frontierland, go through the area in front of the castle, then you would go into Tomorrowland, you'd swoop around and go by the Matterhorn, and eventually you would make your way up into Fantasyland on the back end, entering into another section of Galaxy's Edge, go all the way around into Toontown. After you went into Toontown, you exited out of Toontown into the Small World area. You would exit backstage by Small World, and then you would go underneath a ramp up, and then you would go back to the streets of Anaheim for about half a mile to your finish line. When we were out there, we met several different characters. As you guys know, I do meet every single character on the course. So our first one was actually Lightning McQueen and Mater. I think I've got a picture of them someplace around here, but I'll have to try to dig through my stuff. So here, this is the thing. So they do not take your phones like they do here in Walt Disney World. So if you want to get a picture, sometimes they would do it, but not all the time, because they'd be like, oh, well, we got your bib numbers. With your bib number, that's how they talk. With your bib number, we can go through and we can have it so it pops up, and it's actually complimentary on your run. Like, it's part of the run is actually having those pictures. They do not do that here at Walt Disney World. It is a cool perk, but at the same time, it's something that I don't like to do because I'm one of those people who likes to have it so my pictures are uploaded with my YouTube video that I'm uploading as soon as I finish the race. And a lot of times they are not up for a few hours. So a lot of the times when I've gone through it, I have not had the opportunity to go through and actually get those pictures up. So the pictures that you're seeing now are the ones that they did allow me to have the phone. But first off, we had Lightning McQueen and Mater, and then eventually we got to Buzz Lightyear over here at Pixar Pier area. After that, we did have Mushu. And after Mushu, we had, it might have been this one, might have been the next one. This is Loki. It was very tough to see. Again, one of the things I don't like about having it so they're, not taking your pictures. Over by the animation area, we had Stitch, who is very difficult to see there. He really blends in with that background. Maybe they should have chosen a different character for that area. Then over by the entrance to California Adventure, we had Miguel. Go back. We had Miguel here from Coco. And then we entered into Adventureland. This is Indiana Jones up there. Again, very difficult to actually tell because with these selfies, if I'm holding still, so it's one of those, it's like if I had the flash on, you wouldn't be able to see them. So I have to do the part where it's like you hold it still and then maybe it gets them, but most of the time the characters are moving around because they're not just waiting for you to take the picture. Then we got up there to Ahsoka in Galaxy's Edge. Then we went over by the castle. Oh, nope. No. Go back. There we go. There's the castle and it's all of its glory there. And when we went back into Galaxy's Edge, oh my gosh. No, now you're going too far ahead. When we got over there, we had Kylo Ren along with two stormtroopers there. Now, the entire 10K itself was an Ahsoka Tano themed race, which I personally love. I think Ahsoka is just one of the best characters ever. And after we finished, we had it so we got our Ahsoka medal. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that a cool medal? So there's Ahsoka. She's got her double lightsabers. Disneyland 10K. Overall, really, really cool medal. I am very, very happy with this one. But let's move on to the rest of that day. Again, keep on throwing your questions out there. We are going to answer all the questions about Disneyland and the races as soon as I finish going through this recap, and then we're going to go through and get your questions. But let's do a quick recap of Saturday, and then go into the half marathon, and then we're going to go to your questions. So Saturday, we spent the day at the park, going crazy at the park. We did a lot. So overall, every single day that we were at the park, here, we'll pull up my trusty counter that's not really working very well, but we're going to try it again anyways and see if it actually was pulling up here. So when we would go to the park, I would get these trip reports with my thing. I'm going to just see if the stats are working. The stats are still not working. So in California Adventure, we did 9 attractions throughout the course of the 6 days. But out of those 9 attractions, we did a lot of them multiple times. We did Incredicoaster 4 times. We did Radiator Springs Racers twice. We did Guardians of the Galaxy twice. We did a lot of other things. Over in Disneyland, none of this app's not working at all right now. It's really struggling. Over in Disneyland, we did 27 of the attractions out of the 51 attractions over at Disneyland. Did the same thing where we did multiple attractions multiple times. So altogether, I think I had figured it out when I was on the way to the airport. It was 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. I did 57 attractions over the course of the 6 days when I was out there. Not my best work out there, but it was pretty good work nonetheless. So when we were out there for the half marathon then, we had my friend Randy would join us for the half marathon, and the half marathon was a doozy because if you watched my Instagram stories or if you watched my YouTube video, this was the first time in the history of all my Run Disney races, which is about 200 some races at this point. In all of those races, I've never gotten hurt. And this time it happened. So let's talk about the harrowing tale. So the half marathon again starts a little down the road from Disneyland over on Disneyland Drive. You go down and you go around the backside of California Adventure. You enter by California Adventure over by Pixar Pier. You again go backstage until you get over to Radiator Springs area or Cars Land. When you get into the Cars Land area, you go through Cars Land into Avengers Campus. You take a right. You go backstage until you get over down towards Disneyland. You enter Disneyland over by It's a Small World, I believe is where we entered at. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive it was over by It's a Small World. And then we entered into Toontown. Yes, I believe so. Entered into Toontown and backstage until we got over to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We ran through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge until eventually we would make our way over by Critter Country or not Critter Country, now it's called Bayou Country. And then we would enter into the area by New Orleans Square, into Frontierland, and then we would go through Fantasyland. I'm sorry that I'm looking up right now. I'm just trying to visualize in my head how we ran. And then we would run through the castle and then into Tomorrowland and around. No, through the castle. And then we would go down Main Street USA. When we went down to Main Street USA, we would cross over into California Adventure over by Buena Vista Street. You would enter Buena Vista Street, and then we would go straight down towards Pixar Pier. After going to Pixar Pier, we would enter back or exit backstage, and then we'd go back out to the streets of Anaheim. And the last 9 miles were on the streets of Anaheim. While we were running, you know what? Let's go through our pictures first, and then we're going to go through the thing. Okay, so we had lots of different characters that were on this course. I would like to start off, though, by saying that this race, I have never felt so good at the start of a race in ages, where I literally, so we had 4 of us that were running. It was me, Frank, my friend Catherine, and my friend Randy. Frank was in Corral B. Catherine and I were in Corral D. Wait, we're going to take this off for a second. Frank was in B, Catherine and I were in D, and Randy was in G. And Catherine and I were at the start, and I looked at her and I said, I feel so good today. Like, I feel so good. And in order to get a better corral at the Run Disney races, you need to submit a time of 2 hours and 30 minutes or faster. I've done that multiple times, but I have not done it for a while because all the races I'm doing, I'm stopping for all the characters. So there's times where I'm doing a time of 2 hours and 45 minutes or 2 hours and 50 minutes or sometimes 3 hours, depending on how many characters are on the course. But I have not hit the 2 hours and 30 minutes or faster for quite some time. With this course, because the first 4 miles are all inside the park and all the characters do not do meet and greets outside the parks. So I looked at Catherine and I said, if I can get through these characters in the first 4 miles pretty quickly, and when we get to the streets of Anaheim, I think I can get less than 2 hours and 30 minutes and be able to submit a really good time for future races. And she's like, yeah, go for it, dude. That's how she talks. So I was set. The temperature was perfect. It was like everything was falling into place. It was going to be a great, great race. So we went through and we had all the different characters. So I believe these ones are not in the order of when we actually met them. So I'll just kind of go through exactly where they were. So this is Chip and Dale and their Rescue Ranger outfits, along with the logo in the background, which I really appreciate the fact that they have the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger logo in the background. These two were found over at Main Street, USA, right at Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So this was the last stop before you went over to California Adventure. Here we have Jose Panchito and Donald Duck. These 3 were right before you exited California Adventure. So this is the only picture of me when I was injured. So I don't know. Can we zoom in here? I don't know if you can see. Not really. I was going to say, can you see the scratch? But you can't really see the scratch there. I think this might be the only picture that Catherine and I got on the half marathon together. This is Horace Horsecollar and Clarabelle Cow. If you can't tell from the picture behind us or the area behind us, that is Toontown. That is Minnie's house right behind us there. That is right at the start of the race, kind of at the start of the race. These 2 were the very first 2 characters that you could actually meet on the race course. This is Red, the fire truck, and Mater, the tow truck, from the movie Cars. Here we have Goofy. This is right before the injury would occur. So Goofy is found over on Buena Vista Street right before you continue in the park. And then over here we got some Country Bears. These 2 were located over at the Golden Horseshoe, which if you look behind us here, you can actually see. Nope. You can actually see a Golden Horseshoe right there. And then in Avengers Campus, this is going to be right after Tow Mater and Red there. We had Captain America and Captain Marvel. And then in addition to that, we had Doctor Strange up there. And we also had Black Widow up there. And then we also had some Stormtroopers there as well. And then at one point, you would also go by Chewie, Rey, and V, the 3 characters that we had already met during the 5K. So I did not stop and get a picture with them. Okay, so we're running. We meet Goofy. I meet Goofy. I'm by myself pretty much this entire time. Frank was a little ahead of us. He was stopping for characters. I was obviously not ahead or behind myself. I was where I was. And then Catherine started with me. She was saying, if you're in line and you're close to the front, I will stop and meet characters with you. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on going. I said, that's totally fine. So she passed me, and I never caught back up to her at the Country Bears. Going from Disneyland into California Adventure, I was feeling amazing. I got in that line for Goofy. I was feeling great. I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be the best race ever. I leave the line for Goofy, and I'm heading towards the 3 Caballeros and then out of the race, or out of the California Adventure. And while we're going there, I look at the time, and we're about 4 miles in, and in those 4 miles, we are roughly about, I think it was like 42 minutes I was at that point, which means that if I stayed at a fast enough pace, I was going to beat that 2.5 for sure. So I'm running there. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm going at about a 9.5 minute mile pace. I'm feeling really good. I know because of Frank ahead of me that the 3 Caballeros are the only characters left. So I'm like, okay, I just have to get in that line. So I'm staying on the left-hand side, because if you are going through, you stay on the left-hand side, is for runners, and then walkers are supposed to stay to the right. I'm going up the area. I have another picture here to show you guys. I'm going up the area, going towards, San Fran Tokyo is on the left-hand side, and going up towards Pixar Pier area. And all of a sudden, this person who's on the right-hand side, he starts kind of coming to the left pretty quickly, to the point where I'm thinking, I'm going too fast. I'm going to hit this person. I need to step to the side here too. So I decide I'm going to take a step to the left. I take a step to the left. And when your shoe just sticks to the pavement, like where it just kind of gets caught? It does that, but I'm in full stride. And I'm trying to get my next foot down, but I can't. I completely fall forward. So I turn my body. I land right here on my arm. My left knee gets scraped, and then my cheek hits the ground as well. If you want a reenactment picture, I took a reenactment picture that night when I was at California Adventure. This is the exact spot that it happened. I had my phone in my hand. I had my GoPro in my other hand. They both went flying. There were some cast members that were right there. They were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine." Even though I was not too fine, my cheek was the thing that was bothering me the most, just because you don't get impact on your cheek very often. But the cast members seemed shocked. All the people behind me go, "Oh!" The person who was kind of making a beeline in front of me, I don't think they even knew what they did. And so it was in that moment I was like, okay, I'm going to finish because I'm stubborn, but I'm not going to beat the 2 hour and 30 minute pace that I was really hoping for. And everything, like I said, everything was going perfectly in place. Oh, it's still killing me. It's been a few days, but it's still kind of like I was on such a good pace. And then that person just, we got some questions coming in about this. How's your injury? So it's better now. My arm, like, it's sore right there, but it's not like, it doesn't hurt, but it's just like, I think it's bruised a little bit. The knee's fine. The knee's like a little red still, but it's not bad. The moneymaker is still good. So we're good. Did anyone help you up? Oh, I got up pretty quickly. I was more upset than anything at the moment, where I was like, are you kidding me? I can't believe I just fell during this race. Did you get help? No. So I did go to first aid. It's the first time during a race that I've ever stopped at first aid. It was right around mile 5. So I went about a mile before I got to the next first aid station. I went in there and I said, hey, can you just check my face and just check my knee? I just want to make sure that I'm okay. And they said that they're like, you're going to be fine. Just take it easy the rest of the race. Don't push yourself. And I said, no, I want to win. But no, I didn't say that. I was like, okay. I'd already kind of said, you know what, it is what it is. I just have to finish this race, and I pushed through. The last 9 miles of the race, not too exciting. You're out in the streets of Anaheim. There's not a lot to do out there. They did have some entertainment out there for us. But overall, my thoughts are, if you want to do just a Run Disney half marathon race, Disney World's the place to do it. I think have more entertainment. There's more characters along the course. The characters are more spread out. But if you want to do a 5K, the best 5K is hands down over in Disneyland. So for finishing the race, and yes, I still finished it, you get this really cool medal, which I think is really, really cool. If you look at the back area there behind Mickey, it does rotate around. But it's Mickey dressed up as Indiana Jones. It was all themed with the idea of adventure. In addition to that, for finishing the 10K and the half marathon, we got our Dumbo Double Dare medal. There's Dumbo with his medal. Behind him, you can find it, Disneyland and California Adventure. And then it actually switches around. We just have Dumbo flying right at you. Again, really cool medal. And then finally, if you do a half marathon or a full marathon in a calendar year in Walt Disney World, and then you also do the half marathon in Disneyland in the same calendar year, you get the Coast to Coast medal. And that one is probably my favorite medal of them all. Over here, we've got Walt Disney World. Over here, we have Disneyland. And then also one of the cool things about this is if you look at the backside there, we do have the Disneyland logo, and the Walt Disney World logo there as well. So really, really cool medal. The Coast to Coast medals have always been some of my favorite medals that they've ever done. So overall, amazing time, amazing races. And yeah, besides an injury, I had a great time. Do I wish I got injured? No. But it was interesting to be able to actually go through the medical station. At the end of the race, they also have a medical tent there with tons of medical people. So I did stop there at the end as well. They gave me some ice. They asked me if I wanted ice for my knees, or if I wanted it for my arm, or if I wanted it for my face. I said I really just wanted it for my face. They put some stuff on my knee, like the stuff to like cleanse it out, because there was some rubble and stuff there. But overall, I'm also very happy that I fell in the park and not out on the streets of Anaheim, because if I fell in the streets of Anaheim, it's like just asphalt, and it's just like all those little grimy stones. At least by falling in Disneyland, it's like all smooth surfaces. So I'm very lucky that I fell when I fell. But yeah. Okay, let's go through. We're going to answer your questions. You guys have a lot of questions out there as we are going through here. Also, if you guys have it so you keep on getting more and more people to subscribe to the channel, we will go into more and more extra innings. Right now, we are still currently sitting at that 8,261 subscriber count. So let's go through, because I know you guys have lots of questions about the races. I know you guys also have lots of questions about Disneyland. So let's go through and answer any and all questions as possible. Does Disneyland have more rides than Magic Kingdom? Yeah, there's actually more rides at Disneyland altogether between the two parks than all of Walt Disney World. But at the same time, I feel like there's more to do at Walt Disney World than there is to do at Disneyland. I need to drink water. Okay. But there's a lot of people that I've talked to who are only experienced with Walt Disney World or only experienced with Disneyland. And I always tell them, even if you only know Walt Disney World, go to Disneyland at least once in your life, because everything is so much different. There are only, I think it's 3 attractions between Disneyland. 3? 4. There's only 4 attractions in Walt Disney World and Disneyland that are exactly the same. Everything else, like for instance, Peter Pan's Flight, completely different experience in Walt Disney World compared to Disneyland. So if you go out there, the only ones that are going to be the same is Soarin', because it's a video thing, Star Tours, because it's a video thing, Smuggler's Run, because it's a video thing, and Mickey's PhilharMagic, because it's a video. Everything else is completely different. Their Space Mountain is completely different than our Space Mountain. Their Tiana's Bayou Adventure is completely different than our Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Their Small World is completely different than our Small World. Their Pirates of the Caribbean is completely different. Jungle Cruise is completely different. Everything is completely different. So Yes, there are different rides. There are the same rides, but the same rides are completely different as well. Even if you go on Snow White, the Snow White that's over there is completely different than the Snow White that we used to have over here. There, many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It cracks me up because it's Winnie the Pooh's birthday apparently, and even in the movie, it's not Winnie the Pooh's birthday. And in our ride, it's definitely not his thing. It's the celebration day, because Pooh is a hero, but over there for some reason they switch it to it's Pooh's birthday, and they're like, "Happy birthday, Pooh!" And then you're just going through everyone giving Pooh honey. it's still a good ride. I still enjoy it. But yeah, overall, there are more attractions at Disneyland than the Magic Kingdom. I highly recommend checking out both if you have the chance to ever do so. Make your way out to Disneyland. Trust me, you'll love it. What did you think of the Haunted Mansion queue? I did not really see it. We bought Lightning Lane every single day. Well, not every day. We bought it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that was the only time I did Haunted Mansion was one of those days. And we used the virtual queue for it. So I did not, or the Lightning Lane for it. So I did not actually have the opportunity to go through the extended queue that they have. I could kind of see some stuff, but everything that I could see was pretty much what I had seen in the past. So overall, it looked good. I just didn't get a chance to really go through and experience it as much. Is it easier to get up for the races due to the time zone change? Yes, 100%. I am not a morning person at all. Like after we finish this show, I will be up for another 5 hours, sometimes 6, and I'll be working on books or videos or what have you. So in reality, we were waking up at like 3:30 for the races out there. The nice thing, okay, so here's the nice thing about the Disneyland races compared to the Walt Disney World races. It's nice to not have to drive to the race. Now here I wake up usually around 2:30. I get ready at 3 o'clock. I have to leave to go pick up Frank, or Frank has to leave to go pick me up. And then we head off to the starting line for the race. And then when we get over to the starting line of the race, then you have to walk another distance to get to the starting corrals. Over in Disneyland, we stayed at a hotel that was about a 6-minute walk from the starting line. So what we would do is we woke up at like 3:30, showered, got ready, or I showered. No one else showers before us. I need to shower before the race. So this is not a big debate, but we were kind of talking about it. I'm the only person in our group who's like, I need to take a shower in the morning. Otherwise, I just cannot wake up. And that's just, for me, that's how I have to do it. Like, I don't fully wake up until I take a shower. So before the races, I always take a shower. After the race, I take a shower as well, because otherwise, ew. So I would wake up around like 3:30, get ready, and then we would walk to the starting line. We'd get to the starting line, and by the time we got over there, it was less than an hour until the race would actually start, and we would just be able to get to the corrals. And but it was a lot easier. It made life a lot easier for us. Overall, I just dropped my pen. Overall, I think I had a good time. I enjoy it. It's nicer waking up at 6:30 in the morning opposed to 2:30 in the morning, because that would be the difference between what we were doing there compared to here. So yeah, I think it is easier, but at the same time, I am still not completely. I woke up at 7:30 this morning and I was wide awake for quite some time, and then I was like, okay, I gotta force myself to try to get another hour of sleep. Did you like Bayou's Tiana's Bayou? I didn't. So we did not do Tiana's Bayou Adventure yet. Yet is the main thing. I will have to go back there and check it out. It was cold almost the entire time they were there, so I did not get to check that out. I did like Bayou County. I thought that was pretty cool. We went over we did Winnie the Pooh, and we went into the shops out there too. So yeah. Did you try the Country Bear Jamboree barbecue? No, we did not. You know what? It's funny because we kept on talking about it, but the way that we were staggered. So Frank got in on Tuesday. I got in on Wednesday. Randy and Keith got on Thursday. Catherine got on Friday. Everyone wanted the chicken plaza, the plaza chicken. So Frank got the plaza chicken on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, him and I got the plaza chicken. Then on Thursday, Randy and Keith wanted the Plaza Chicken, so we got it again. And then Friday we did not get it, but Saturday we got it. So we ate at Plaza Chicken. We got the Plaza Chicken a lot while we were out there. And there was one time where I said, hey, we should go over to the Country Bear Jamboree barbecue. And everyone was on board. And then we were walking past the Plaza Chicken. We said, oh, you know what? This is right here. We might as well do this. So that's what we did. But yeah, I next time I'm out there, we can get it. Keep on throwing those questions out there. We're answering as many questions as possible. And we will go through and answer as many questions as possible here. I've never been to Disneyland. You need to get out to Disneyland at least once. Like, trust me, go out there at least once. It is hands down one of the best. Oh, it's okay. So here's the thing. We were explaining this while we were out there. I was walking down Main Street, and I also think this is probably why I forgot about doing our live stream. We were walking down Main Street to head towards California Adventure, and I was just looking around. I was looking at the windows of Main Street USA out there, and I started smiling, and I was with, I think it was just Catherine at that point. And I looked at her and I said, this is so nice. And she said, what is? And I said, I never get a full vacation. Like, I never get, when I'm here, technically I'm on like a long vacation for the last 15 years, but I'm constantly thinking about which video I'm going to do, which picture I'm going to do. And it's my home park. So I'm there all the time. So it's not like I'm there to just enjoy the time all the time. Like, even though I do enjoy my time here all the time, but I never focus solely on like, what do I want to do? What do I want to get done today? Like, how many rides can I get done today? And going to Disneyland, it's one of those things where I feel like I'm on vacation because it's someplace different than where I'm going all the time. And again, 100%, I love going to the parks every single day here. But when I'm here, I usually have like ideas in my head, like, okay, like today I want to film this or film that, or I'm writing a book about this or blah, blah, blah. And so it's like a different mentality when you go to one all the time and then all of a sudden you go to a different one, because you're like, oh my gosh, it was nice. It was a very nice, I don't want to say relaxing because we ran 22 miles, but it was a very nice, relaxing trip with four very, very, very good friends. It was very nice. And it was really good because I had people that like when you do these races, there's a lot of times where it's like, okay, we meet up and then it's like, you're going to go and rest or whatever. And that's what we do here a lot. And that's because everyone else is like, hey, we're going to go back to the hotel and rest. With me on vacation, I was like, hey, we're going on as many rides as possible because we cannot do this tomorrow. Well, we can't do it tomorrow, but we went on a lot of rides. I really pushed my friend group to bring. So Sunday night, let's talk a little bit about Sunday night. So Sunday night, we finished the race. Or Sunday morning, we finished the race. We go to the park around like 1:00-ish. And Catherine and I got there at the same time. Frank was a little behind us. Randy and Keith had just finished eating. So Catherine and I said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, we're going to get food first because, we ran a half marathon that morning. We're starving. So we went and got food. We met up with Randy and Keith. We did a few rides, and then we met up with Frank over on the other park. And then we did more rides, and we ate more food. And then Randy was like, this is a few hours later, Randy's like, I'm exhausted. I think I'm going to go back and just get some sleep. I said, okay. So we lost her probably like around 8:30, I want to say. And then Frank's like, I'm getting pretty tired. Maybe I'll head out soon. And he's like, but I want ice cream first, which I always want ice cream too. So we were at Disneyland at the point. We headed over to California Adventure. We went and got some ice cream. And after we got ice cream, Frank said, I'm out. So then it was me, Keith, and Catherine. And we went on Incredicoaster. Then we went to Guardians of the Galaxy. And then it was like 10:30-ish. And I said, hey, World of Color is about to start. Or maybe it was 10 o'clock. So World of Color is about to start. And he said, I'm out. And Catherine and I stuck it out till midnight. And from throughout the whole day, we did 21 attractions, and I'm very proud of ourselves because we went and went and went, but everyone else in our friend group slowly just fell by the wayside, which was really funny in my opinion. It was just kind of watching everyone else go through. Is there a No Way Jose anywhere on property? Sadly, no. That is the biggest problem with Disneyland. There's actually, I think there's only one ice cream place that actually has peanut butter as a topping, which is a huge travesty. I don't understand how they could go through life without peanut butter, but yeah, they're at Clarabelle's. They had one, but it was like a pre-made sundae, and then I was ordering from the app, and I tried to add peanut butter, but it didn't give me the option to add peanut butter. But maybe I just looked at the wrong spot because I was really hungry and I just wanted to have ice cream at that point, so I missed it. Okay. Plaza Inn's number 1. Country Bear Jamboree is number 2. Registration opens 11th. Correct. Any tips or tricks? I really want to do my first Disney Race 5K. Yeah, so this coming up Tuesday will be the registration for the Wine and Dine. Make sure you're on the website at 9:55 at the latest. It opens up at 10. The 5K will be the first thing to actually fill up. So what's going to happen is at 9:55, it's going to put you into a queue. And you and anyone who's in that queue before 10 o'clock, you're not in order at that point. At 10 o'clock, anyone who's on that site from 9:59 to 59 seconds and earlier, you're all scrambled up into a queue. And it randomly places you in an order to have it so you're going through and joining it. At 10 o'clock, anyone who joins at 10 o'clock and 0 seconds or later is automatically entered into the back of the line of that queue. So if you are in there at 10 o'clock on the dot, but 2 seconds, you're now behind thousands of people. So you want to be on there at least 5 minutes early is what I advise. If not even earlier. There's times where I've gotten on at 9:30 and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to enter into this queue. Now, after you get into the queue, sometimes it takes, even if you're in there early, there are times where it will still take literally 45 minutes to an hour before it's your turn to actually go through and register. When it gets to that point, what you're going to need is going to need to have a bunch of things ready on hand. Credit card. You need to have it so your credit card is either entered into an autofill on your thing. Same thing with your address. Have it so that's an autofill on your thing. You're also going to need whatever your Disney account is. So whatever your Run Disney account, that's going to be the same thing as your My Disney Experience account or your Castaway Club account or your Disney Plus account. It's going to be the same password across the thing, same email across the thing. So you're going to need to know what that is. So as soon as you log on there, it's going to ask you immediately, hey, what's your, you need to log in to get into that account. So it will go live. You'll have people like me who you're fighting with. So don't take my spot. I'm already signed up for the 10K and the half marathon because I am a perfect runner for the challenge, which means that I've done every single challenge for the Wine and Dine. The Wine and Dine 2-course challenge is what it's called. I've done every single one since the inaugural year. So no matter what, I have a guaranteed entry into that. But 5Ks, they don't have a perfect thing where you get a guaranteed spot. So because of that, there's people like me who are going to be on there at 9:55, specifically going for the 5K. So just, be aware of that. But yeah, I would just make sure that you have all your stuff ready to go. Your email and password, have that all set. You're going to have it so your credit card information is ready. You're going to have it so your address is ready. And if you make a mistake, this is a key one. If you make a mistake on your credit card information, so let's say your, the little number that's on the back there, your 3-digit, I can't think of the security code. Let's say it's 001, but accidentally you write down 010. It's going to pop up with an error. It's going to say this is not a valid credit card. You're going to have to refresh the entire page and start all over again. So it's a pain So just make sure that your credit card information, whatever you're doing, that's the one part you want to make sure is exactly right. If you make a mistake on other parts, it will be a hassle to fix. However, you can contact Run Disney and say, hey, I accidentally chose the wrong shirt size, or I accidentally misspelled my first name. I put down a D instead of a B, and now my name is Drent, and I want to have that switched. They can fix that. It might take them a while to fix it, but it takes a lot, and it's kind of a hassle. But hopefully, I'll cross my fingers for you. And as soon as if you get in, let me know, because I want to know if you get in. Life equals peanut butter. May the odds be forever in your favor. Okay, anyone else out there have any questions about the Run Disney races or about Disneyland in general? Like I said, we are going to be talking next week all about the studio tour. I don't even know how many pictures I took. Let me take a look here. I took so many pictures there. We were able to go inside of Walt Disney's office, which was the only time during the whole tour where I was like, oh, I'm going to get misty-eyed. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 times 4. What is that? 132. So we got 132 pictures that we're going to be going through next week. So make sure you stick by next week, because next week is going to be a humdinger. It's going to be a fun episode to talk about, because if you've never gone to the Walt Disney Studios, it's an amazing place to go to. This was my third time going there, but my previous 2 times were 13 years ago and 16 years ago. So it was really cool going back. Like I said, we got lots of pictures. We got a lot of stories, a lot of things that we learned about. Our tour guide was amazing, very passionate about the entire Disney company, about everything that was there. So yeah, it was very surreal. The whole experience was very surreal. I had never been in Walt's office before, so walking in there, I got misty-eyed. When we will finish the bracket, we're going to continue the bracket series sometime in the coming up weeks. But for things like Run Disney, I like to talk about that right now, because otherwise in next week it's not going to be relevant. And people who are going to watch it are going to be like, what's this guy even talking about? Who cares? This was weeks ago. And I want to talk about the studios while it's still fresh in my mind too. So, all right, but I think we're going to be wrapping this episode up right here. As always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out there in the chat room, give us an oh yeah. All right, thank you everyone out there for joining us once again this week. Please keep on spreading the word about the Wednesday show and From Screen to Theme, and invite anyone and everyone to join the groups over on Facebook or to follow me on Instagram. And of course, if you've not ordered your copy of A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA yet, make sure you go order your copy now. I will ship it out tomorrow if you buy it tonight. Also, thank you everyone out there for joining us. As always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I can't stand this kind of pressure.